Hello and welcome to the Real Entrepreneurs with Sergio Angulo. I'm your host, Sergio Angulo, yours truly. And we're bringing this podcast to you from San Diego, California during the Latitude Conference. This is episode number 4. And today we have an amazing guest on the show. But before we introduce her, let me tell you a little bit about this top producing entrepreneur. She has been in the real estate industry for over 15 years. She strives to develop leaders with her companies through mentorship and teaching them, and also providing leadership opportunities. To her, nurturing true relationships is what matters most. Moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 2012, and is the current broker owner of C21 Capital Properties, the one and only Eva Angelina. Eva, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sergio.
I'm so excited. This is Eva, this is the first episode that we do that's mobile essentially. So we're super excited to be in San Diego, to be at the conference, and to have you on the show. So thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love San Diego. Is a beautiful city to
Sure.
do this at, so I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So Eva, let me ask you the first question. So you are a real estate broker,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So
I am.
so tell us what's a real estate broker?
So a real estate broker is somebody that's licensed to have other agents that are non-brokers under their license. So pretty much you manage other agents in the profession that get licensed. And in order to be a broker, there's different avenues to get a brokerage license. It's either years of experience before you can become a broker, and then you test. It depends on the state. I've actually had a broker's license here in the state of California and now in the state of Tennessee, but you have to have either experience or some college level courses to get a broker's license and then to be licensed in that state.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that for our listeners that don't know what a real estate broker is. So Eva, tell me a little bit about your story. What is it that you want to share with our audience? What's your story? What's the Eva story?
Well, it's a pretty interesting, complicated, but hopefully inspirational story. I actually got into real estate by accident. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and loved it. Wanted to make a difference in the world. Got my college degree because honestly, it was very important at the time. It was like everybody has to go to college, right? So being the first Latina in my family to graduate high school, I thought, well, how am I going to go to college? I had a lot of challenges, especially because I was a teen mom at 16.
Wow.
So my opportunities seemed very, very few. I didn't want to be part of the statistic. So thankfully, I had amazing mentors and people around me that supported me. Was able to get a scholarship, go to college. And at that time, I thought I really wanted to be an attorney.
Oh,
I'm
really?
going to be an attorney.
Wow.
And honestly, it just sounded...
I could see that. I could totally see that.
I just wanted to be an attorney. And I think somebody said, back when I was in school, it was like doctors, attorneys, nurses, like they sounded really important. And back then, unfortunately, even though this was, like in the 80s, 90s, I still didn't see a lot of Latinos in my area that were like affluential Latinos.
Okay.
So I would see a lot of people around me and I go, well, what could I be that's important? And I really wanted to make a change in my life. So anyway, long story short, I went to school, majored in history, minored in English, really wanted to go to law school, and realized that at the time I was like a teacher's assistant.
Okay.
Well, as I got through college, and I really, really enjoyed kids.
Oh, interesting.
So I thought maybe I could teach while I go to law school because I needed to make an income. And then, you know what? I fell in love with teaching.
Oh, really?
Yes, I fell in love with teaching. So I became a high school teacher at a local inner city high school. Loved it in LA.
In LA, okay.
Yeah, I worked for Los Angeles Unified District for a few years. And then I went through a major life change after my 5th year of teaching. My broker, I had bought a property, and my broker that was a Hispanic agent said, have you ever thought about real estate? He was helping me sell my condo in LA.
Oh.
And I go, no, never. I want to be around kids. They actually listen to me. I stayed away
Unlike
from
buyers
business.
and sellers, right?
Yeah, I just thought sales and business was not for me. I really did not. Teaching felt safe. At that time, I was teaching high school kids. I loved my high school kids. I said, I love it. I'm making a difference. I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. But he said, why don't you come shadow and see what we do? He was a top producing agent in the Valley, big team.
Okay.
And he said, just come and see it. I need a buyer's agent, and maybe this is good for you. And I go, okay. And literally, as he had offered me that opportunity, I'm going through a major life change where I have to make more income. I really have to make more income.
Why do you mind?
I was going through a divorce. And, because of my circumstances growing up in LA, being a teen mom, I was married at a very early age. I was married at 13 and a half years old with an older person. Yes. Wow. It was it was kind of arranged.
Yeah.
And it was very, at that age, you just don't know what's out there.
What's happening, yeah.
So,
and
unfortunately.
Do you think that had a large impact on
totally.
The rest of your,
Totally. Had a very, very hard upbringing. Had to leave my home at around 13, 14 and a half years old with an older man. Was married for a very long time. But I had really good people around me to kind of lift me up and tell me that there was more in life than just what I was living. So I didn't really go to college because I knew education was my saving grace. Like I really wanted to be a better person, but it was people around me that kept pushing me to do it, because at that time, being married at that age, it's just kind of weird. Like in LA, it was like, what? You're married? What? I would go to like school and people would like, you're married? What?
Yeah.
It was just a very interesting upbringing. Especially in LA, because we're so, it's not common here.
It's not common, totally.
It's not really, common, but you know what I mean?
It's common. Like my grandmother got married at like 14 or something like that, right? But that was in Mexico, in a small little village, So I could only imagine. And by the way, listeners, that's we're very close to the airport, so that's going to be airplanes flying just overhead. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
But I could only imagine the impact that had on your life.
Totally.
Being in LA and being married and how that really played a big role, right?
Yes.
And so then this real estate broker kind of invites you to kind of join the team, and then that's kind of the way that you got into
That's how I got in the industry. I remember shadowing one of the agents and just seeing this lady that had just gotten keys to her house. She was a small little Costa Rican lady. Sweet lady, was crying, very emotional, because she had gotten her house. And I was like, wow, they're really making a difference. And at that time, I had owned a condo, but I didn't really understand a lot of the real estate, everything that real estate can do for people. It's not just about having a home. It's more than that. The general wealth piece and all that stuff.
Having security, right?
Having security, a lot of things. So I said, maybe I could do this. So I did it part-time.
Okay.
I did it part-time. I got my license, did it part-time.
So you continued teaching?
I continued teaching.
Wow.
Because I needed the income, because at that time I had already just divorced and I had a preteen daughter. So I had already had my daughter.
How old were you?
I had finished probably around 28, 29. Wow. Yeah. Okay. When I started discovering the real estate world, and it was really hard, being in LA as a single mom is very, very hard. And the teachers, as you know, don't make a lot of money. So loved what I did, but I just needed to make more income and stability for my daughter. So I did real estate as like, okay, let's see what happens kind of thing. And I did really well. I did right before the market crash, right? I did really well. This is so good. I made more, obviously, in real estate than I did in teaching. So I kind of saved, and I thought, okay, I'm ready to jump, right?
Go all in.
Yeah, and then the market crashed.
Oh, gosh.
And I was not prepared, guys. Let me tell you, my broker was amazing. He said, save for a rainy day, do this. But you always thought it was going to be good. Yeah. It was just one of those things. I was a new agent, didn't understand the ups and downs of real estate.
Yep.
And I had to go back to teaching. And I loved it. It wasn't like I just really wanted to do real estate full time. So my journey in real estate has changed. But, I belonged to the team, did really well, then went on my own, then, tried a different company. And then, you go through all these different seasons where you just want to try different things out, see what's the best fit,
and see what's out there.
Because there's so many opportunities. But you have to do what feels right for you. And I eventually said, you know what, I think I can be a team leader or have my own brokerage. And that's later on what I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, amazing story. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So tell me, what is one goal that you've reached in your career that you would like to share that you are just proud of? That was like the goal that you just, it took you to that next level that you felt like was really inspirational for you and moving?
There's been a couple of those, but I would say obviously graduating high school for me, graduating high school and college and being the first in my family, that was a big goal for me. And being a teen mom even more because, you know, you're not part of the statistic, the stat, like teen mom, Latina, babies, all these stereotypes, right? Yep. And I would say then owning my own company. You know, I am officially a C21 Capital Properties. That's my new company.
Congratulations.
That's a big one for me because I've always been independent. And I decided to venture out and be part of a bigger brand, and I love Century 21 and what they stand for, so I'm so happy to be part of that. And also venturing on to other things that I'm passionate about, other companies and other ventures that I like. So I would say just creating.
What other ventures are you kind of involved in?
Right now, you know, definitely, obviously, real estate's a big one. I love to invest. I would like to get just starting up into some real estate development.
Oh, awesome.
Love that. But also medical. We have a couple of medical practices that we run and just different things. You know, I have a couple of other ideas under my belt that I'm always thinking, what's next?
A true entrepreneur.
Yeah, I just think like, you know, there's so much out there. But one of the things that I've realized is you really got to keep true to yourself. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it? Because, you know, you go through so many changes in your life and you think you want to do something, you realize, oh, maybe not so much. And that's okay. I think that a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, it's such if I don't do this, then I failed. You just have to follow your heart and do what feels right.
Oh, that's perfectly said. Yeah. I mean, you really want to not let the failures or the letdowns kind of bring you down, right? I mean, a failure is only a failure if you don't learn from it, exactly. Right? And your journey is fluid, I would say. And I always tell that to friends and family clients, you know, so you're a true entrepreneur at heart. I can see that for sure.
I didn't think I was, which is interesting, right? So another lesson is try things. Just sometimes try them, because I don't think I would have even looked into real estate if this person says, you know what, because communication is such a big part of what we do. Being good communicators is very important.
Very important.
So yeah, like being open. And
just trying it, right? Yeah. Saying yes. The power of saying yes.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, this podcast really is just that, right?
Yes,
it's me.
Yes.
It's my team just saying, hey, let's do a podcast. And I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. You know, so that's really let's do it. You know, so it's really that. And there's so much power behind just trying it. For sure.
I agree with you completely.
When you started your career as a real estate broker, right? And when you kind of ventured into entrepreneurship, what's one skill that you think that you was really important for you to like prioritize, right? What was that one skill that was just like the one that you felt was like super, super important to have and to really nurture?
I would say there's two. I would say communication. I thought I was a pretty good communicator because I was communicating with high school students and I was teaching. Well,
and they're not easy, right?
I thought I was pretty good, you know, but coming into the business world, I realized I was kind of timid a little bit. I don't know if it was because I didn't feel confident. Okay. So confidence, building my confidence. Okay. And I think you do that through knowledge. You know, the more knowledge you get, the more confidence you get. But I would say I had to really be confident in my skill and really grow and really be an effective communicator, because that's what we do. And I feel like that was probably, I needed to be able to look people in the eye. I couldn't do that. I could not do that sometimes, you know, and I was like, I just, you know, insecure, not knowing, lack of confidence in the business. And I think a lot of agents, when they're new, they feel that, you know, in anything new. But I think you got to build your knowledge. You really have to learn. That's going to help build confidence. But in what we do, and really anything you do, you have to be a good communicator.
I agree. 100%. I've been in the business for a little bit over 3 years now. And when I started, I was like, hiding in the corner. Don't talk to me, nobody. I don't want to have a conversation with anybody. And little by little, you start learning, and you start kind of building up that confidence. So super important. And whatever you're doing,
and
right?
Whatever you're doing, because that's what you're talking to people, and you're trying to convey your story or your message, and you have to understand. So I actually took a couple of Toastmaster classes and did some communication work, just because I had such a hard time. I would get nervous, my palms would get sweaty. I'm like, why am I so
Why
nervous?
is it so hot in the room?
I know. I'm like, why? And it's still a work in progress for me, and I've been doing this for years, and I still think I need to be a better communicator. I think that's such an important skill in anything you do.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Because you're able to get your message across, right? Clearly, really what you're trying to communicate, right, to your audience and to your clients, or a business partner or whatever, and even interpersonal relationships that you have, right? I mean, being able to communicate what you're feeling is so important.
So true.
Yeah, and
so true.
You've mentioned a couple challenges that you've had while you were growing up, and in your career and in your business, but I think very specifically, right, when you kind of started in real estate, right? What were some of the challenges that you had, and how did you overcome those challenges? Because, I look at the stats on our podcast, right? And I see that a lot of our listeners are younger, between 18 to 25, right? Yeah. And I feel like a lot of them are probably starting off as entrepreneurs and in real estate. So what are some of those challenges, and how did you overcome them?
You have to be laser focused. I have to be laser focused and really put in the time. You really have to put in the time on whatever you decide you're going to do. Because when I started, I had a business card that was, you should have seen my business card. A mentor looked at it. He's like, Eva, what exactly do you do?
Oh, my goodness.
Entrepreneur, speaker, entrepreneur, realtor, motivator, And he's like, okay, we gotta work on this.
Tone it down.
Yeah, because I wanted to do it all, right?
Wow.
And I have that in me now that I have to bring it down. Like, what is my primary focus? What are you going to focus on? Because that's where you're going to put your energy on, in, whatever 100%. That is. So I think just be laser focused. One of the things that I wish I would have told my 20-year-old self is to be authentic and be true to myself. Because you know in your core what feels good in your profession and what path you should. But sometimes we don't listen to that because this other thing sounds good, or this or whatever.
Or someone's telling us something, right? Yeah.
Yes, and when you're younger, that's very normal, right? You want to maybe please other people or impress other people.
Or just succeed. You're so driven, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, but it's okay to take your time to figure that out. It's so important that you take time to figure that out. Like, what are you truly passionate about? What would you like to do every day if you had the opportunity to? And really sit with that and create your plan. Because one mentor said this, and I don't know, Joe Marone might be too old for you guys to remember, but he, great business philosopher, said, if you don't make a life plan, somebody else will.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Yeah. Somebody else will make it for you, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's like, have plans. I would tell my students this all the time. Have goals, have a plan. If you don't know what it's going to look like and you need help, I can assure you there's tons of people that would be willing to give you a helping hand. Because another true statement is, if you help other people achieve their goals and dreams, you're going to be okay. Yeah. So I truly believe there's good successful people love to lift other people up and help them. So there's a lot. Just sit with yourself and try to figure out, what is it that I really want to do? What life do I want to design, for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, that's the challenge that I've been having for the last year or so now. I've kind of in a state in my career where, I'm one of the top agents in the office, and before, when I started, nobody was really talking about me or about my team or about what I was doing. Nobody was focused on me, right? And then as my career kind of started developing, I've started to really listen to other people and their opinions, and I've had to really try to overcome that, right? And so a challenge that I've had is just kind of being laser focused and not letting others kind of interfere with that end goal that I have, right? So definitely something that I could relate to for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of young people, I'm sure, it's just there's so much out there.
So much.
That looks pretty and all this, but is that truly what you want, and why? Ask yourself why. Why does this mean so much to me? Yeah. And then that let your heart guide you. From that. I think that's so important.
What's your opinion about like work-life balance? Because I hear that a lot, right? With out in social media and just like mentors and speakers, they all talk about work-life balance. So what is your opinion on it, on that concept?
So I'm not sure if you'll ever reach 100% balance. I don't know if I believe that wholeheartedly, because we're growing and things change in life. But I think you have to strive for balance. That's the key. You have to strive to what feels good. And you also have to be clear on your plan, like everything, your goals and what they are. Some of things are it's time is money, right? Value of time. Like you don't get time back. So you have to really have a plan as to what do you really want your life to look like, because there's going to be some sacrifices that you have to make to get to some of your goals. But then what about your family? So I think of life as a big pizza, like a big circle, right? Like carve out time for the things that really matter to you. And if I tell people, okay, how much time is in your do you dedicate a family? How much is business? How much are you focusing on your health, right? That's super important. Like everything matters, because guess what? Everything is intertwined.
It's all together.
So you have to, what I say is strive for balance. I'm not sure if you're ever going to reach 100%, but just strive for it. Strive to get better every day. And big thing for me is always do something for yourself. Self-care is super important. Health is super important, because it affects everything you do. So, try to figure out what that looks for you. But in your pie of like all these aspects, how much time do you want to dedicate to each?
And divvy up that time accordingly, right?
Yeah, whatever it means to you. Because some people, I think relationships are important in my life, right? So I try to dedicate time, obviously, to my family. That's important, because to me, it's like I create all this wealth and all this, you have this money, but what does that mean to me? Why?
Without anybody to share.
And for some people, they really don't care, maybe. Yeah. But for me, it does matter. Health, it matters, right? So how much time do you want to dedicate, and why, and what that looks for you, like what that plan looks for you, looks like for you.
Yeah. Agreed. I couldn't say it. I mean, that's honestly exactly what I believe, right? I mean, and I like asking this question, even just off the podcast, right? To different people, because everybody has a different answer, right?
They do. Everyone
has a different answer, so it's so interesting. You just joined the C21 brand, right? I guess, why C21? That's the big question I have. I'm part of the C21 brand, so I know why, trust me. But why C21? And then what exactly have you done to like make a strong team that fits within the C21 brand?
So start with the first one. C21 it's a recognizable brand. I'm a small firm. I just have 6 agents under me. It's not, I've always wanted to be small. I never wanted to grow to like 100, 200 agents, at least not right now in my life. That's not I've always loved to nurture relationships, help people grow. Mentorship is a big thing I love to do. So I loved Century 21. I really loved, everything they're doing in the diversity and inclusion, just everything they're doing to empower Latinas, to help other build leaders. Yeah. That to me meant a lot to me. Yeah. Of all the other brands that I looked at, I feel like they really excel in that. Their marketing is amazing. I mean, the Hispanic marketing that they have is amazing. That's great. I just didn't see anybody else doing. I don't see anybody else doing this. Really tapping into the Hispanic market. And for me, in my area, I'm super passionate about the Hispanic market, and I just feel like my team reflects that. and I'm my goal is to be one of the most diverse offices in Nashville. Not only Hispanic, I'm talking diverse, because that's what our world looks like now.
Yeah.
And that's really, why I feel like Century 21 was the best fit for me right now.
Okay.
They really embrace diversity.
I agree 100%, honestly, because it's why I'm part of the brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I see myself there. I've been in other offices where, agents that either had my background or, looked like me, I guess, right? Were not there. And I just didn't feel that inclusion, right? So totally 100%. And you made the right choice, in my opinion. C21 is a great brand. And just the brand recognition, right? I mean,
yes, totally.
Everybody
international.
knows. International, really.
Yes, yes. I was actually really not surprised, but within the Hispanic community, it's the number one recognizable brand. And I kept thinking, that's true. When you go to Mexico, you see C21. I mean, you go to other countries, C21. It's so true, So you can't really, it's what, over 50 years?
Yeah.
Over 50. I don't
know the exact year, but it's for sure over 50.
Over 50, I know. And they, they've rebranded, and they have so many good tools for you to be successful.
And they've done such a good job at the rebranding.
My opinion. I know.
Honestly.
I remember C21 growing up.
The old
let me tell you,
with like the house, the roof lines and all.
I know. I was like, shoot. Well, 5 years ago when I went to this Realogy, it was like not a conference, but it was like a get together of all the brands.
Like a mastermind.
Mastermind. I saw how they redid the brand, and I was like, wow, they've done a great job. It just seemed like that was the better fit for me. And I think it's so important when you're looking at things, what makes sense for you, especially if you're going to be the broker owner or lead on, your
lead
company.
The team, and
you have to be sure that that's what reflects you.
Now that are you bringing on new agents now that you've kind of joined the C21 brand, are you bringing on new agents? Are you not bringing on any agents? Like, what's kind of going on with the team?
So a lot of things. Yes, I will be. I will bring, as I told you before, one of my goals is to be a very, very diverse office, not only Hispanic. I will say right now on my team, we're all bilingual, they're all Hispanic, and I love it. But I want to see a more diverse, even within my team. I want to see, I want to see more Latina leaders as well. I want to help them grow. But I feel like that's a big thing. I really want to grow. I'm going to be relocating my office, and I'm really? So excited. Wow. Same in Nashville, not far where I'm at. I am, the first Latina broker owner of a Century 21 office in Tennessee right now. So that to me is like power, Yes,
100%.
Because I will be represented, a great brand, and I am the first Latina to own an office, a 21 office.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That's a big goal. I mean, that's something that you're always going to have with you.
Yeah.
And I think you're also the founder of the NAHREP chapter in Nashville, correct?
So I relaunched a chapter. So I guess, for me, NAHREP has always been part of my real estate career. Always. It was just introduced to me back in 2011, 20 something. Let me say, it's been amazing. The network, it's like a family. To me, NAHREP Familia, it's a family.
100%.
So when I moved to Tennessee, there was no chapter. And I was like, I really wanted to connect. And, Gary Acosta, great friend, great inspirational leader, encouraged me to consider launching the chapter. And in 2016, I said, you know what? Nobody really knows Eva Angelina here but Romero, but you know what? And nobody knows NAHREP, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to bring it together. And I got together with some other amazing leaders there. There was only a handful of Spanish-speaking agents when I moved there, that I knew of. And it was just maybe 10. So a good group of us started it.
10 in all 10 of
that I knew in Nashville. Yes, probably in Nashville, maybe 10 that I knew and in my circle. And I mean, even if you go all the way to Clarksville, I'm thinking of other areas. they're not predominant at all.
Wow.
So we're like 10% I think we're now, Hispanics are about 10% of the population there.
Compared to Los
of
Angeles,
course,
right?
Of course, but this is back 12 years ago, 13 years ago. But still, I remember thinking, gosh, it would be so cool. And now at the time, there was only like 50 something chapters throughout the U.S. We ended up being like 56. I don't know the exact numbers, but now obviously NAHREP has over 100 chapters.
Yeah.
But we are the first chapter, and now we have over, I think, 200 members.
Wow.
So I'm excited. I'm so happy. I was
awesome.
president for 2 years, and now I'm on their advisory board. Great board. Super proud that NAHREP is present in Tennessee.
And the founder is so important because it's like you're the one that's like starting it, and then you're handing it off to somebody else, right? And with NAHREP, by the way, NAHREP, National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, right?
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, I just joined the organization and joined the board of the LA chapter.
Nice.
And that's one thing that I saw this year that I really wanted to really highlight, right, with the chapter, bringing everybody together, right? That's really the main goal. We're not here to compete with each other.
I love that you say that.
Yeah, we're here to lift each other up.
Yes.
And that's one thing for me this year that I tried to, whenever I'm talking to, speaking with anybody or just having a conversation at the events or in the meetings, I try to bring that up every single time. Yeah. Because I think that, words have power.
Absolutely.
Right? And so for me, that's been really important.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
We're kind of winding down the show now, but the last question, I really left it towards the very end. And something that I really wanted to ask you, because you're so like, you're laser focused, but you're so hungry, right? You have all these businesses going on. You just joined a huge brand. You're building your team that's going to be diverse, and you want to do real estate development, which I want to definitely listen. I want to know more about that. Okay, yeah. But what is it that keeps you hungry?
I think of legacy. You know what I think, Sergio? I think of legacy. I think about what I'm going to leave my kids, and hopefully they get to leave a good legacy and are good to people and can inspire people. Because I think of, it's not about more. I've realized like it could be nonstop. But what do you want to create? And I think for me is I want to create a legacy and something memorable that my kids can share on to other generations. Wow. That's really what I think about. And because money will come and go. When you do the right things, money will come and go. How much? It's really, irrelevant. It just comes and goes. And somebody told me that years ago, and I was like so desperate that I just didn't listen. Yeah. But I wish I would have, because it's so true. I don't know if it's because I'm just getting older and it just happens with life, but I will say you just get so much more perspective as to why you're doing what you're doing. And it's legacy. I want to help other people become the best they can become. And I think that alone is just helping me become a better person as well.
Wow. Well, thank you. I mean, I really believe that that's the only way to grow, right? I mean, and it's to really help others, right? I mean,
true.
That's really what's going to launch you off to reach that next level in your career.
Yes.
It's by having that kind of like that feeling of just being giving, right? Mm-hmm. and sharing the knowledge that you have, right?
Yes.
And it's interesting because if you look at, like Gary Acosta and just successful entrepreneurs, leaders, they are all giving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I had an agent that closed 100 deals this year. Super successful. Just moved to just opened up his own brokerage, and has like hundreds of thousands of followers. And I messaged him on Instagram, right? And Sunday evening just called me out of the blue and spoke to me for an hour.
Nice.
And just shared, his experience, right? I'm miles away from him. We're probably never going to do a deal together, right? Yeah, it's like, but it's just
it's
that
amazing.
That mindset, right?
Yeah.
So important. And I think that's the fact that that's what's motivating you is and that your goals are kind of in line with that, it says a lot about you.
Thank you. Well, there's more to come.
There you go. So please let our listeners know how can they connect with you?
I'm so easy to find on Facebook. I know that's old for you guys that are younger than 25.
I have a Facebook.
I have a Facebook, but my kids think it's for the old people. But you know what? It's not. I promise you. It started off with the young people.
Yes, it did.
We were the ones that started so Facebook, but Eva Angelina Romero, and Instagram @InspiredEva. That's my name. And obviously now I used to be Eva Properties, now C21 Capital Properties. And there you could totally find me through there. And I just started my TikTok, guys.
Woohoo! I need to go follow.
I just started it. So I'm so excited because that's something that I'm so excited to continue to do. So yeah, but you guys can find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you for
I really
having
appreciate
me.
it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing you speak at the conference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sergio. Thank you.